welcome back everybody to TTBurger Game Reviews, and you all know who I am, so let's get started. In part 2, I covered SpyHunter 2, which I gave a 4 out of 10 due to the fact that it was a huge step backwards in terms of gameplay, graphics, and almost everything else. The only thing it improved on, for the most part, was the controls. And you thought SpyHunter 2 was bad, you haven't seen anything yet, because for part 3, I will be covering, in my opinion, the game that totally destroyed the SpyHunter series and left it for dead. And this game is so bad that I can't even consider it a SpyHunter game at all. That game is SpyHunter Nowhere to Run, released in 2006 by Midway and Terminal Reality on the PlayStation 2 and Xbox. Now before I get started here, I should point out that this game was supposed to be based on the SpyHunter motion picture of the same name that never saw the light of day, so it makes me wonder if the game is actually the movie in the first place. But getting that out of the way, let's start things off with the story. The story stars Alex Decker, played by Dwayne Johnson, aka The Rock, who is an ex-fighter pilot, now a part of the IES, is sent to stop Nostra from once again trying to take over the world, by this time trying to steal the Interceptor along with a cargo of latest governmental technology. And that's basically all I can say about the story. It makes no sense at all for the most part. It jumps all over the place, making it very hard to keep up with, and I can't even understand what's going on most of the time. Because of this, it'll be very hard to even care for the story either. Say what you want about SpyHunter 2's storyline, at least it was easier to understand and stuff. Graphically, SpyHunter Nowhere to Run looks awful, even worse than SpyHunter 2. The G8-155 Interceptor still looks decent, and Dwayne Johnson's character model looks good, but the rest of the game is just horrendous. The enemy models look very generic and blocky, along with generic backgrounds that look like they came from other video games, and also the cutscenes have taken a major step backwards as well. And this game came out in 2006, and the first SpyHunter game that came out in 2001 looked a hell of a lot better than this, that's for sure. Sound-wise, SpyHunter Nowhere to Run is also a big joke. The voice acting is awful. Sure, Dwayne Johnson does a decent job recording his lines, but the other actors sound like they'd rather be somewhere else, and just dead read their lines the entire time.
I've got the tech. Meet me in the West Alley. We can cut through the Argale.
But the transport isn't here.
Then just leave the damn thing where it is.
I didn't put 3 years' work into the Interceptor to just leave it for Nostra.
Without the tech, the Interceptor's nothing but a go-kart. You know that.
Yeah, but it's my go-kart, and you know that.
Karen, do you even know how to fire a gun?
About the girl. I kinda liked her. Fiery nature. Nice of them to leave this for us, though. Tell the men to dig out whatever else is salvageable. The rest can burn.
The music was hard to pay attention to, so I can't say anything about it, but for the other sound effects, the gunshots sound like weak toys, and the Interceptor sounds like a remote-controlled car when it moves and stuff. Gameplay in SpyHunter Nowhere to Run is a huge mess to begin with. First off, you'll be surprised that most of the game is spent out of the interceptor, and this is where the problems start. The on-foot missions are just plain boring and feel really out of place. You spend most of the time finding switches, killing bad guys, and doing other type of lame objectives, and that's basically it. For the most part, the enemy AI for the on-foot missions is just so dumb they don't even try to kill you before you take them down with your melee attacks or weapons. There will be a few times where they could kill you, but that's just very rare. And speaking of melee attacks, most of the time the melee attacks become overpowered to the point where you'll be spending most of the time not using a weapon. The worst part is, though, I don't feel like I'm playing a SpyHunter game. I feel like I'm playing a generic third-person shooter game, and it feels like this game is trying to rip off 007's Everything or Nothing, which came out 2 years before this, and that game was a lot better than this, and it was probably the best James Bond game ever made. But the on-foot missions are totally unnecessary. It makes you wish you were spending more time in the interceptor. But however, the driving portions of SpyHunter Nowhere to Run are also a mess, due to the fact that you can't use the D-pad to turn or anything like that. You turn using the left analog stick, and that took a lot of time to get used to. Also, the interceptor feels very clunky, especially when you turn as well. The turning is the worst part of the driving portion because you turn too sharply almost all the time, and it can almost get you killed every single time. What's worse is the interceptor can take less hits before getting destroyed. This is supposed to be a super powerful vehicle here, people, and this is the best it can do. The controls here are horrible. The D-pad allows you to switch between your weapons, while the shoulder buttons like R1 and R2 fire your weapons and grenades. The triangle, circle, square, and X buttons allow you to use melee attacks. For the driving portions, the controls are almost the same with a few differences. Like pressing triangle will let you go into salvo mode where you can destroy multiple targets at once, which is cool, but you won't be using it much, and it's not enough to save the game. I think that's pretty much all I can say about this game. It literally killed the SpyHunter series this badly, thanks to terrible, boring on-foot missions and driving portions that aren't much better, and an awful storyline, and the fact that there are other games that have done this type of gameplay and have done it a lot better. But now for my final demerit. SpyHunter Nowhere to Run is a game that definitely should be avoided at all costs. There is nothing positive I can even say about this game. Hell, it's so bad, I'd rather go play SpyHunter 2 instead. I give SpyHunter Nowhere to Run a 1 out of 10. Thank you all for watching my 3-part SpyHunter series review. Stay tuned for more videos. This is Tony, aka TTBurger88. Peace out and have a great day.